Okay, yeah, off the record.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining. I'm with Julie today with the Travler Surf Club up in Malibu. It's a gorgeous Sunday, and we've got a little bit of breeze, so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for asking me to be on the Salted Spirit.
Yeah. This is only my second van interview, so still like getting my flow down and everything, but let's just kick it off and tell me all about it, since we're up here and like in the spirit of the surf club.
Yeah, your van is so cute, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Such a cute little space. So,
thank you.
we're here sitting in a parking lot next to the shop, and we opened up the Malibu location about 4 months ago in March of 2019, and we've got another location up in Pacifica, just south of San Francisco, just out Lindemar Beach, which is a great little surf spot, for the Bay Area folks. And it was going so well up there, we decided to open up Malibu. I grew up in Agora Hills, just over the hill here, through, Canaan Road, and grew up with like hot summers and getting down to the beach up at Leo Carrillo, and then also surfed Surfrider Beach when I was growing up. Was introduced to the place around age 16 and
lucky.
I know I am lucky. That was a dream, to get to surf. It really. Anyway, there's all kinds of stories we could get into, but basically Malibu is such an amazing wave, and still connected to the community down here a little bit, and I just love the community. My wife Rel and I were ready for a little change in weather as well. We love the Bay Area, but to have a real summer down here with south swells and everything was the next move for us.
Cool. So how long have you had your location up in Pacifica?
We opened in October of 2016, so about 2.5 years we've been up in Pacifica.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got the pleasure of getting a little tour and walking through and getting a feel for the club. It's beautiful, by the way. If you haven't been up there, stop in and check it out. They have the retail space in the front and then the club in the back. So can you just kind of walk us through, as if we're going through a visual tour of what it looks like and what the amenities are and what you get as a club member?
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of a two-named thing. It's Travler Surf Club, and then Coastal Outpost is the little retail store up front. So we're on PCH. If you're coming north to go surf Malibu, we're on the right-hand side. There's 2 parking spots out front that you're welcome to cruise right in, park up front, come into the little store part, which has, I just love curating different items from around, California and friends brands and things that I love. So the store is really kind of personal choices of products and brands that we carry. And then you cruise through to the back of the space, which is nice and wide open with board lockers, a little Wi-Fi area, sitting area. We've got a vending machine with wax and sunscreen and like ding repair, and there's a secret beer section if you want to grab a beer. There's all kinds of fun stuff in there, and we have like clean restrooms, and then we have lockers where you can stash your keys and phone and clothing and stuff while you go out for a surf. We've got a little espresso machine and tea, hot water, water fill-up station, so you can, refill that water bottle. We've got
true live from the PCH, the motorcycle club going by.
Sunday motorcycles.
Yeah.
We've got changing rooms, a little wetsuit rack to dry your suit after. And then outside, we built a little deck where you can get a hot water rinse off and, get sunscreen and get a little nub of wax and go from there.
So nice.
Yeah, so the goal is kind of just to make it easier to get out in the water and to not have to schlep your board all around. Yeah. We just wanted to kind of take away any of those barriers that might give you an excuse to go surfing.
Yeah.
It's always like, gotta strap the board down, or,
totally.
This or that. It's a way to kind of get people to maybe drive a smaller car to the beach and save gas,
Awesome.
And yeah,
I love
really
that
fun
concept. It's true. I think sometimes I get in my head like, I have to bring all my stuff and like, the wetsuit, and it's such a production sometimes to go surfing. So I like the concept of just ease of access and encouraging people to have a great space. So it's like, no excuses, get in the water. It always
Exactly.
makes you feel better.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of people would join as kind of a motivation too. Just be like, okay, cool, I'm going to join for 3 months. I'm going to surf more often. This is
Yes.
going to force me. It's like joining a gym, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to take advantage of the surf club, meet other people. You know, you're going to run into someone, you know, putting their board away or hanging out, talking story up front. Or out in the water. It's really nice to, you know, have a familiar face that you've met at the club. So it becomes this really great little community, which has been so cool to see flourish up in Pacifica, and then it's just starting down here in Malibu.
Very cool. What did you do before you put together this amazing concept and beautiful space? How did you get here? That's always
the
my
journey.
big question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a pretty fun ride, I gotta say. Like I said, I grew up here in Agora Hills, just over the hill, and grew up doing the junior guard program.
Okay.
Up at Leo Carrillo State Beach. Through doing that junior guard program, I would go to the camp store all the time at the campground up north there in the Leo Carrillo State Beach. And the guy that owns the camp store, he and his wife, they're like, you should just work here. You're here all the time anyway. So when I was 16 and had my license, I got a job at the Leo Carrillo Beach store. And so that was like a dream job from age 16 to like 22. When I'd come home from college, I was working at Leo Carrillo, surfing out front there and meeting tourists and selling firewood and ice and beer and cigarettes and, you know, T-shirts and cans of corn and stuff. It was so much fun. And then... college at UC Santa Cruz, surfed a bunch up at Santa Cruz, and that really kind of took my surfing level to the next, to the next level.
I've heard it's pretty intense up there.
Big rocks and huge waves and cold water.
Lots of guys.
Lots of guys, but such a cool, like, girl community up there. I met so many hardcore, amazing, grounded women that really... stuck with me. It's just like what a cool girl posse there was up there. And they had this contest called Women on Waves at Capitola, that I got to meet all these Santa Cruz girls who were really welcoming to this, newbie coming up from Southern California.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so school was great, surfing in college and mid college. Got sponsored by Roxy, which was kind of cool.
Very nice.
And yeah, there's all kinds of stories, but
let's hear some stories. I love the stories, Julie. What's the good stuff?
Yeah, gosh, I took Cassie Metter and I are friends, and we're really tight growing up. And I took 3 months off of college to go travel in Australia with her, and we bought a car and cruised around. And we were like so young, and just cruising around Australia, meeting all friends over there, and doing contests. So that was really great. I knew that I was going to get a degree in something. I did environmental studies, but I knew that surfing was somehow going to be in my path, in my future, in my career. So after college, I went and did massage school because I was like, okay, environmental studies, there are these huge global problems, and I just felt like I needed to take it one person at a time kind of thing. Yeah. And massage really suited my personality and my vibe. Yeah. So I did massage for a little while, and then I really missed kind of I was like, I gotta get back to surfing somehow. This is really my love, and I just love the people around surfing. And so I taught surfing at a all-women's surf camp called Las Olas down in Sayulita. Mm-hmm. So after college, I was doing that. I was writing for Roxy, so kind of doing some contests here and there, but I would keep myself fit and, was really loving sharing my passion for surfing with women down in warm water, Mexico.
Yeah, cannot beat that.
Yeah, it was nice. So I thought I would work that job for like 2 weeks. I'm like, great, free trip to Mexico. And then 8 years later, I was like, okay, time to move on from, coaching surfing. But it was so cool to meet so many clients that were really great, and I stayed in touch with a lot of our clients from that job. In that time, I designed a line of surfboards too, with Jed Knoll, because I saw this need for women were asking me what kind of boards they should get. When they got home from surf camp, they're like, what should I ride now? I surf, in New Jersey, or I surf in Santa Cruz, or this or that. So I was like, there's a little like market here for designing a line of boards for women that's just like makes it easy and not intimidating to buy a board.
That's a great idea.
Thanks. So Jed Knoll and I, he was my shaper, and he was really into the idea and really supportive. We designed 5 boards for the women's market called the Jewel Collection. Yeah, so it's kind of a play on the name, of course. And then we're like, cool, we can call it like the Diamond, Emerald, Sapphire, Ruby, and Opal.
Cute.
So it was like, I felt like, when, you get a diamond, engagement ring or whatever, it's like that commitment. But I felt like surfing was a commitment that I felt like could be important for a lot of women, too, to have that outlet. And so the diamond was kind of like their board that they could, I don't know, really feel strongly toward or whatever. So we've been still doing that 14 years later. We still have this line of boards together.
Way.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Do you sell them at the shop?
We do. We have a few boards down here in Malibu.
Okay.
Most of them are up north in Pacifica, or we do a lot of customs.
Okay.
Yeah. Gosh, so that was surfing, surf camp, working there, designing boards, and then after that I was really I was back and forth from Mexico so much to California. I was like, okay, I need to put some roots down somewhere.
Yeah.
And Oceanside was where I landed. Warmer water, of course, North County rules. And Oceanside and Encinitas. So from there, I worked at the California Surf Museum.
Cool.
They were just about to move into a new building and needed some help, so I jumped on board there. And I think I was still doing some massage at the time, too, kind of off and on. But the Surf Museum job was awesome because I got to learn, surf history and meet all these amazing people coming through the doors every day. You'd be like, oh, whoa, that was Mike Doyle, or Leroy Granis, or Nat Young would pop in. It's just like, whoa, I'm in the presence of some really amazing stuff here that I should take advantage of learning.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I worked there for 4.5 years. It's a nonprofit, so that was interesting, just wearing a lot of hats and fundraising, and I was operations manager, and then we never had a director, so I got into the director role. And then I just got a little bit burnt out after a while with nonprofit. I love you guys, California Surf Museum, but sure. Yeah, it was a lot to take on. And so from there, that's where Rel and I met in Oceanside.
Cool.
And she moved out from New York, and we were like, let's move to the Bay Area. We're just ready for a change. And that's when we moved up, to San Francisco. And then there's more stories from there, but you want me to just keep going?
Yeah, this is good. How long were you guys up in San Francisco then before you came back down?
We were in San Francisco about 7 years.
Okay.
We're still back and forth.
Yeah, because your place is up there too. So.
Yeah.
Do you have another home up there?
Yeah, we're kind of figuring it out, back and forth, checking on things up there, and then getting things going down here. But 7-year cycle.
Yeah, it's time for a change. It's just like, all right, let's mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So you've obviously worked extensively with women and lessons and being in Santa Cruz and finding your girl tribe and all these different things. What do you think, what's the takeaway for surfing and women? Why is this sport so important, or being in the water, whether it's surfing or whatever? But, what have you seen? Have you seen any changes in women and any stories around that?
Yeah, good question. It's been so cool to see the accessibility of surfing. Surfing become more accessible, I guess, through, more better equipment and better clothing and wetsuits and things like that. It's been awesome, just the confidence that it brings to women. I feel like I can do anything after surfing a big wave session. I just feel like so much stronger, and so I feel like it's a really cool life. Surfing has so many life lessons.
Yeah.
And it's the community, of course. We're hanging out in the water. Yeah. You're meeting people of all ages, all genders, and it just kind of brings you to one level playing field, kind of, with surfing. But I think just the camaraderie of I guess I'll back up. Like, growing up, I was surfing with the boys, from age, 8 to 15. And then once I met, Carla Rowland, Ashley Lloyd, and Cassie Metter, and my friend Allison Bailey, that was like, oh my gosh, there's these girls that surf. I was always the only one.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just was cool, they're surfing so well, and I want to hang out with them. I loved hanging out with the boys and being one of the girls that could hang with the guys. But it was just this whole different dynamic, and so much fun getting a little posse of girls that you just could share life with. We're just different.
Yeah. You said surfing always teaches us life lessons, which I couldn't agree with more. There's so many, but can you think of one life lesson that really sticks out?
Thing that I take away from surfing, it's exercise, it's friendship, it's camaraderie, it's a little bit spiritual, it's a little bit environmental, it's a little bit just killing time, it's all kinds of things. But I think it's just that balancing factor is what it is for me.
Were your parents or your family big water people? I mean, you grew up by Leo and kind of in that area. Were they water bugs, or did you just happen to fall into it and fall in love with it?
Yeah, the latter. My parents, and I have 2 older brothers, and they're not beach people at all.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting to me.
Yeah, so I'm one of those people that found surfing through, I think I had, Sports Illustrated for Kids, magazine. And it is so true that, seeing pictures of things, really does help, lead you in a direction or give you inspiration. But I think it was, the Hobgood brothers and, CJ and Damien Hobgood, and then Nathan and Christian Fletcher were, in these kids' Sports Illustrated magazines. I was like, oh, whoa, surfing looks cool. I want to do that. And then the neighbors across the street, this family who I adore, and I'm a surfer because of them, really. The Collings family, they had 2 sons, Jeremy and Travis, who are still some of my best friends today. They would go to the beach all the time, and their dad would race Hobie cats up at Trancas at the end of Zuma. There was this place called the Malibu Yacht Club, and they were members there, and I would see them getting their VW van, ready to go to the beach, and I would go outside and hang out, and the mom Sue would invite me to come to the beach with them, and that was the best. I was already hey, Mom and Dad, if the Collings invite me to go to the beach today, can I go? I'd pre-ask, and then when they'd invite me, I'd be my bags were already packed. So I just really loved their whole vibe, listening to the Beach Boys down at the beach, and so fun, and really beach family. So I kind of attached myself to them. My parents were really supportive of that, which was so cool. And we did, junior guards growing up. So they would, be part of the carpool that would take us down to junior lifeguards. And when I started doing competitions, when I was 16, 17, they were totally supportive. And
awesome.
Actually, my mom did get me some lessons, too, with the local surf shop owner in Agora Hills. This guy named Rick Fluke had a shop called Perfect Balance, and that was my favorite shop. And so she would drive me to Ventura, and I would learn to surf with him, but on a shortboard. I was like, what the heck? Once I discovered longboarding, it was no looking back.
Yeah. So what's interesting while you're talking about different women asking you about what boards they should ride when they're starting off, what do you recommend? I mean, I know it depends on their skill level. Where are they surfing? What kind of breaks? Beach breaks, reef, whatever. But do you have any general advice for any women listening? That I have a lot of women oh, I really want to get into surfing. I've been out once or twice. I think I might take a lesson. But the boards, it's such a kind of stressful decision. So
yeah, great question. I do think starting on a foamy is good. You know, just for, even if it's a rental a few times, or if you have a friend. If you have a friend that has a foamy, just getting out on that. But you're not going to progress very much on a foam board. But from a few, tries out on the foam board, I think then a used board, and then I'll I always, email. I've done surf coaching on the side too, kind of since I was 16. And I'll always email my clients kind of dimensions that I feel is good, or I'm send me a link on Craigslist if you find anything, and I'll say yay or nay. So I think finding a board on Craigslist or at a surf shop that's used, $500 or $600, that's watertight. Basically, the dimensions would be for the nose, 18 inches across, 18 or 19 inches. The width in the middle, like 23 inches. The tail, 14 or 15 inches. The thickness, about 3 inches. Mm-hmm. And I like the single fins because they're just nice and stable, and you can nose ride.
Yeah.
So, and then, progressing to a fiberglass, get a custom board. It's no more money than getting a board off the rack, but you can choose your own color. And, it's like, then the shaper, like Jed will write like for, Stacy on the stringer. And it's just so special if you're going to spend the money on a new board, like, wait 3 months and get like a custom. So, yeah, there's a lot to it. But, and also talking with the shaper about your style, what kind of a surfer you want to be. Your height and weight goes into account, and the type of break that you're surfing. So I think contacting a local shaper is a great way to kind of get started in your first, real board. Because equipment matters so much.
Yeah. It does.
We know surfing can be a roller coaster of emotions trying to learn, because it's like, oh, I suck at this. Yeah. Oh, I had a bad day. Like, this is so hard. Is it me? But it's so much equipment, and conditions and kind of getting the right advice. So get on a good board and you will have so much more fun.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you, Julie. I tend to go to Venice Breakwater, just like that's my home break. I'm in Culver City, so it's an easy shot down Venice. And so I ride I don't ride a short board, but I've got like a 6'6", Scott Anderson, thick rails.
Cool.
But I come up here and it's like, I feel like such an outcast, and I have a longboard and I'm just like scared to ride it.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get advice from you. I'm making this personal about me now, but selfishly, I don't know, like I'm so short and petite that I feel like, one, it's like really hard for me to manage. Malibu's always so crowded and it like kind of stresses me out. And then I go up there and I have my shorter board that rides like a longboard, but I feel like I kind of like don't fit in. It's like, oh, she doesn't have a longboard. I don't know. I kind of and maybe I overthink it, but
yeah, no, I know what you're thinking. Like, I know what you're feeling. I feel like with the longboard, really just taking your time with it. It's like learning to drive a Cadillac or something that you're just it's not gonna maneuver as quickly. You really have to slow it down. And I like to just try to catch the small waves on the inside and just really figure it out. Like, you're using a lot of your ankle weight, and your, forward and backward, weight anyway. But with the whole feeling like, oh, I'm not on a longboard, there's so many fun little waves to be ridden, at like second point up
that's
here
usually
too.
Where I sit.
Yeah,
just take the little closeout sections.
Yeah,
because I'm like not competing with the longboarders, and it's still really fun.
So fun. And then on a bigger day, you can connect those waves all the way in. Like some days, I'm like, oh, what am I doing on this longboard? Like I want this. Yeah. That wave is shreddable.
Yeah.
Malibu can be slow and mellow, but it can be really, really fun top to bottom. You can get little head dips in there.
Yeah.
So, I think for you maybe like an 8 foot or something, just to like have a little more length.
Yeah.
So you can catch some of the smaller waves at first point, but not feel like it's too much board.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a different style, and like you said, you're used to riding a beach break, so maybe like a 2+1. With a single fin, you're kind of really going with the speed of the wave, whereas a 2+1, you can kind of get a little. You bend your knees and kind of dig into the wave with those side fins, and you can kind of create your own speed a little more. So it's just, there's so much nonstop learning and having fun surfing.
I know, and just trying different breaks. And my husband and I love to travel internationally, and it's always fun because you have to adjust and be open-minded. Like, okay, what am I walking into? What's this break like? Is there a channel? How do you get out? What size board? What's the vibe like? Like, you're just constantly having to be like a little bit in limbo and being okay with the unknown.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good to just, it's easy to get really comfortable, and I'm guilty of that too. I go to Venice like every day, and I'm like, I surfed in Malibu a couple weeks ago, and I just felt like pretty out of my comfort zone. And I was like, I need to come here more. This is telling me that I need to come up here more. And I like what you said about, one of the reasons you created Travelers Surf Club was just to get people inspired, even if it's like a 3-month membership, to say, all right, I'm committed to this, I'm paying for it, I'm going to get up here and practice this new wave I'm intimidated by, or this crowd I'm intimidated by. And
Right.
And you'll find that it's like such a great community, and you're going to learn. You just have to put the time in.
Right. Just got to put the time in. And then our staff, we love this break too. So like learning from us, asking us questions about where to sit on a different tide. Like, having grown up here, I've learned like, okay, got to line up to this at this tide or this. And the sand is always changing and stuff like that. But we want to be that resource as well, and really want to be an inclusive space that's like encouraging and not just, the hardcore surfers that are going before work, although we want those, men and women as well. But definitely we want the beginners that are also just like, maybe a little intimidated or that just need a little more encouragement. We love everyone.
Yeah, very inclusive.
Yeah.
Why is Travelers, why has it become so deeply important to you, where you're just pouring your heart and your soul and your time and your wife's time into this business? Why do you think it's driving you?
Good question. Also, I think, after moving up to San Francisco, I worked for a surf brand, and then a couple brands, and helped other people open stores. And I think finally, mid-30s, I was like, the light bulb just went off, where you're like, okay, cool. If they can do it, if they can have a business, like I can have a business, I can do this. And I just had these ideas that I wanted to pursue and fulfill, and so did Rel. So no one's going to do it for you, and if you have an idea, it's not easy to make things happen, and ideas can come, but you got to really work hard to make them reality. So it's just, it's been really fun to start a business, learning all these new things about, having a store and being open every day and having staff and, HR and leases and landlords and customers. And it's been really cool. There's so many relationships. I love people and relationships, and I've always been kind of in hospitality in one way or another, and it's just really fun. Honestly, there's nothing, we go home and just talk about Travler all the time. Rel also has a clothing line called Silver Lining.
Oh, cool.
That we carry at Travler too. So
awesome.
That's been really fun, because she had this idea to do outerwear lined with artwork, and we just figured out how to do it. And so it's been really cool, because her brand has become part of what we sell at Travler, and we're just really entrepreneurial and kind of motivated.
Yeah, I can tell that. So do you guys, for someone getting started, did you have like a whiteboard where you just put all these ideas up? Did you start a business plan first? Like, how did you really get started, where it's always about momentum, right? And getting the momentum rolling, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just naturally have things to do I need to work on today. So how did you get that started? And it sounds like you guys are both really creative. So
that's the fun part for sure, is kind of like the idea time and the brainstorming and the writing it out, and what if we did this and that, and okay, let's try to get some research around that, and let's talk to these people and see if that would be something they'd be into. Or and then I took business classes at night. There's a through the Small Business Association, through the government, or the Small Business Administration, there is little centers that you can go to around each city. And so in San Francisco they had one, and they were offering some evening classes on how to write a business plan. So that was so much fun. I would leave work from my other job and be so stoked to go to my business class, and because they'd give you homework, and they'd give you spreadsheets about how to do your financials and how to project sales and all this stuff, and you're meeting all these other entrepreneurs with ideas. So that was really, really fun. And then once I wrote the business plan, it took about 2 years to actually open Travler, because I was like, oh man, there's a lot of capital that I need to start this business, and I just didn't have that. So it just took time thinking through it all, and it wasn't quite ready. And then meanwhile, my wife Rel was going to business school. She was getting her MBA at a badass business school. So we just kind of got the experience the education we needed, and then we had the experience already. So then it kind of just, when we saw an open space, we're like, whoa, this would be a perfect location.
So good.
We just were like, you know what, we're gonna make this happen, and we just stopped at nothing and to make it happen. And
awesome. And here you are.
And here we are, second location.
That's
crazy.
So rad. That's so rad. You must be so proud. Awesome. Well, congratulations on getting everything up and running. Are you guys running any specials for summer or anything that you wanted to share?
Yeah, we're running a special through the end of July for 15% off a board storage membership down here at Malibu.
Cool.
So if that comes out in time,
yeah,
or if, we'd love to fill this space with amazing people this summer and fall, because it's going to be, the waves have already been so good.
I know. And this week they're going to be good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have that special going on through the end.
Cool.
If you enter TSC 15, like Traveler Surf Club 15, it's a coupon code for the discount.
Awesome. Cool. I'll be
Thanks.
sure to put that up. Yeah, for sure. Are there any women that really inspire you, like every day, whether it's women in the surf community or women in your personal life? I know that's a hard question. There's probably a lot. I always get, there's so many. How do I just name one? But anyone that really jumps out at you as just being someone who's defying the status quo and doing things better for women and a voice for women?
Yeah, there are a lot of cool women out there that inspire me. Yeah, I mean, my wife Rel, which I've mentioned a bunch, but she's awesome.
Yeah.
And in total inspiration, the mom, Sue Collings, who, would take me to the beach all the time. She was a real big inspiration for me. My mom, all my friends who I would do contests with and travel with growing up are still really big inspirations for me. My friend Elena Nathy, Mary Bagalso, Bianca Valenti and Keala, Cassie Metter, Carla Zamora, Ashley Lloyd Thompson, she's shaping boards. It's like all these women, Amanda from SIA, all these women that we kind of grew up surfing with and brainstorming with, they're all still doing amazing things and kind of paving their own path in the surf world, and we're still able to collaborate and support each other.
So entrepreneurial, so much entrepreneurial
I know,
spirit.
it's crazy. Women like you doing podcasts and giving back and just supporting other women, it's so cool. It's so great to hear other people's stories, and we're all so different yet so the same, that it's really neat to just, even if you've never met that person, you're like, cool, like a kindred spirit out there,
Totally.
And there's so many more women that you can have as mentors through Instagram and through podcasts. It's great to be able to discover other friends. I'm trying to think of who else. Just like women in politics, it's so cool to see more women. I think for me, it's important to see more women in like leadership roles, especially in business, because growing up also like writing for Roxy, it's like there weren't that many women in the surf industry, and you would always kind of feel like if there were more women like above you, as your bosses and making the decisions, that things would maybe turn out a different way. So I'm really a proponent of like women in higher role job, opportunities.
100%. That's a pretty healthy list. Pretty good list of women you look up to. I love it. That's good. You mentioned social media, and I think it can be used as such a great tool to connect people. I always say don't be shy or nervous to reach out to women or women in business that you're inspired by. Just reach out and say hello, send a message, or stop into the club.
Totally.
Instagram has like changed my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I've connected with women from all over the world and been able to interview them, and I always reach out to them through Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes hard to find an email, but like everyone is on social media, so if you use the platform the right way, it's like so powerful.
So powerful.
It can give you a sense of community.
It really can. Yeah, you can be sitting at home, and just scrolling through and feeling like you're connecting with someone because you've seen a cool photo, or you've commented, or they've commented. So it's awesome. I think we're in a cool time with it. I can't imagine being a teenager at this time with social media. Like that would be really interesting, and you take some solid parenting skills to make sure that things are going well in that end. But it's amazing. It's fun. I mean, now doing it with Travler and it's like sometimes it's hard to be creative all the time and come up with like cute captions and like with the right photos and stuff, but it can be such a creative outlet as well, and great way to connect, and the stories are so fun. We try to do little surf checks so you can check the waves on our our page if you don't subscribe to Surfline.
That's awesome.
It's great. It's amazing.
Cool. Well, I would love to just wrap with one question. A big part of what I do, and the goal behind Salted Spirit, is to raise awareness around environmental issues and issues with the ocean. It's especially important for me because I didn't grow up in California. I grew up in Wisconsin, so I just was not exposed to these things. So I think it's easy for us who are here now or who grew up here to make that connection and want to protect what you love. But in the back of my mind, it's always like, well, what about all the other people that aren't around the ocean and don't feel stoked to like care about plastic pollution or what have you? Like, how do I? And that's part of the reason I decided to do the podcast and use a storytelling platform to try to inspire people, not just in California who already know and care, but for people back in Wisconsin or all over the world. So, are there any tips or tricks that you can share that keep you inspired and stoked to take care of the oceans? It's such an important resource for you. It drives so many things for you right in your life. We'd love to hear just any tips that you have or something you want to share.
It's a great question. There's like so much. I think your dollar is really important, and where you spend it speaks a lot. So supporting companies that are if you have to buy something, just making sure the choice that you're choosing, is as environmentally friendly as possible, whether it's, sustainable seafood or, just products that are supporting a certain government, politics, I think is, and policy is really important, and also supporting local nonprofits that are doing well, volunteering. If you have some money at the end of the year, like, give it to a nonprofit that is doing good things. Being a part of a nonprofit, you really realize how important those little donations are. And like like I said, volunteering, getting involved with Surf Rider, Heal the Bay, Sustainable Surf, Save the Waves. There's organizations doing so much, and so doing a little bit yourself will make you feel really good, and have a positive impact. So
great. I love that. Good suggestions. Yeah. Awesome. Were you going to say something?
No.
The last thing I just started doing these little mermaid musings, sea melodies. I got these up in the Redwoods, but you picked opportunity. You will prove yourself and discover if you brave the rough seas. Do you have any opportunities that are, on the forefront, on the horizon that you can share with us, or what's next?
Well, I think just every day, like, it's funny because I was thinking about, the opportunity to be on this podcast and just to be able to share a little bit and chat with you. And so every day there's an opportunity. And sometimes you have to put yourself out there, and it's not easy, by any means. It can look easy. But I think that there's a lot of hard work that goes into things. And but it's so worth it in the end if you do push past your comfort zone. And like it says, brave the rough seas. You'll discover a lot about yourself and the world, and hopefully, inspire others along the way to join you in that journey. So
awesome.
Opportunities every day, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you,
It's been
Julie.
really cool.
Thank you. And where can people find you if they want to check out Travler Club?
TravlerSurfClub.com. On Instagram, Traveler_surf_club. Excuse me. And then just popping in, we're at 5450 Coast Highway in Pacifica on the south end of Lindomar Beach, and then here at 22941 Coast Highway in Malibu. So I would love to just meet anyone that's listening to the podcast. Come say hi. We just want to keep building this cool community of men and women in the water and appreciating the ocean.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on today.
This is so cute in here. I don't want to leave.